audio started.
Oh my gosh, here we go.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I am good. But I guess it's only...
I was like, what's happening? Hi, fam.
What's happening?
You're like, hey, we know we got season 2 rolling out, but wait a minute, because we got some big news. We got some big stuff that just dropped that's happening. So go ahead, tell the people, DaeShawn. Tell the people.
Oh, yeah. So, sorry if I'm like, still look like I'm getting stuff together. I kind of am. But yeah, new project, new mixtape just dropped. The Dream on all platforms.
How many platforms?
Every last one.
Every last one, okay?
Every last one.
Okay.
Yeah. If y'all seen the first episode of Unrehearsed, then this might be a bit familiar with y'all. In the first episode, we did like the Transparent 2 interview, right?
Oh yeah, the very first season one. Okay, I was like, season 2. I was like,
And today we finna dive in on this project.
So
it's in Mo's hands.
Okay, it's in my hands. It's in God's hands. I'm leaving that. No, I'm just kidding. So, my first question is: we know that you have an album out, and so 2 things that I want to talk about first is one, I want to talk about why the Dream.
Like why the name?
Yeah.
Why the name? Well, that's just, I've always been the one, I've said this throughout the podcast and maybe in other places as well, but I always create in whatever space I'm in that moment.
Okay. Ooh.
Not to say that I'm just now becoming like ambitious or anything.
Right.
I've always been this way, but after the real life events of Transparent 2, it just kind of kicked into a different gear.
Okay.
And then along with that, different opportunities started opening up.
Okay.
And that kind of gives you a little boost. It gives you some gas. So it's like you wanna push. And so that's the nutshell. It's like I've been in this super passionate phase that just kicked into another gear over like the past year and a half, 2 years.
Come on, I love that for you. It's so exciting. So then the other thing that I wanted to ask about was the album cover, because it's actually I like it. Honestly, it gives me like Joseph when I see it, like Coat of Many Colors, like Joseph of the Bible people.
Okay.
And so I was like, oh, and then it's called The Dream, and I was like, did he do this on purpose? But I was like, he probably didn't. So go ahead.
I mean, I wanted to, in basic terms, I guess I just wanted to mix it up a little bit.
Okay. And you did that? You did do that?
Yeah, like the last 2 cover arts for like projects. Because the projects were so like emotionally heavy, then the cover arts kind of seemed that way.
Ooh.
But everything about this one was completely like different. Like I wanted to have my head up this time. Both cover arts last time my head was down, I was all depressed and whatnot. I wanted to have my head up this time. I wanted to have I wanted to have some light on there, because we're talking about the Dream where it's more high energy, so I wanted to have something that reflected that. And then I just so happened to be on scrolling through social media the day that shout out Sasha, I'm butchering her name, Sashisti. But she had made the cover art, and she's based out of like New York, if I'm not mistaken.
Come on. She did amazing. You did amazing.
Yeah, and she had made like a little piece of art just for the heck of it, I think, for Kanye West. And he shared it, and that's how I found her.
Wow.
And so, I mean, you miss every shot you don't take. So I was in the need of cover art at the time.
Come on.
So I was like, let me just shoot her a DM. I didn't think she would respond, and she literally responded like a few minutes later.
Oh, come on.
I was like, bro, what the heck? I was kind of stuck. I was like,
that just shows that she's down to earth.
Right. I was kind of stuck. I was like, I didn't think I'd get this far, but
he was like, hey.
And then I just I told her what I wanted, sent her some ideas, some inspiration, and after a little less than a week, she sent that back over.
Okay.
And then I had Brandon. Shout out Brandon. It's never enough.
Shout out to Brandon.
It's never an episode of Unrehearsed if we ain't shouted out Brandon. Shout out Chris. Shout out Ricky.
Yes.
And I had Brandon add the actual title on the top, and then put in like the little dashes in between, because that's like the transparency logo with the dashes in between. So I was like, put that on there as well. So that's how that came together.
Oh my God! Okay, we're about to get into it. I'm like so excited. But first of all, your beats are, cause how and where, like. It's like literally every single track, like nothing sounds the same at all, which I love. And I just can't, like, literally every song is so different. And I was just like, like every time a new beat would come on, I'm like, this is fire. Like, how does he do it? Like, what's going on in the dome? How does he produce this? How does it happen?
Still trying to figure that out.
Okay.
No,
okay.
Like, I guess I'm learning myself as I do this. So, I love everything that you hear on the project is stuff that I genuinely love to listen to myself.
Oh, I love that. Okay.
So, like, if you go through like my Spotify, just my liked songs on Spotify is the spectrum is wide.
Come on.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, everything that I listen to is stuff like I want to do that. Like I want to try that out. I want to see if I can learn those kind of instruments or use those kind of samples. And it was just a matter of putting time in, diving through the crates, so to speak. The crates is all online these days, so no actual vinyl record crates,
thankfully.
Milk crates. But
because they had it for real job back then.
Yeah,
Lord. And
it came together like that. And me, I get antsy and bored easily. So, They probably have a diagnosis for that, but
no, I don't think so.
But so it's like I want to hear something that is great and flows, but at the same time doesn't get stale. Yeah. So how do you in an age where attention spans are much lower? How would I keep myself interested? Yeah. You gotta switch up the sounds a little bit, but not so much in a way where it's like it sounds or feels he trying too hard. You know what I mean? Yeah, because it's gotta sound real. Yeah. Yeah. So.
Dang! Yeah. Oh my God! Okay, we're about to get into it, y'all. Yeah. So literally the first song on the album.
I appreciate you loving the beats, by the way. Bro! I'm not to cut you off. I'm very passionate about that. Like before I took leaps in the songwriting, it's like okay, I'm actually gonna do it. Like for those that don't know, I've been a musician for several years, and so I'm very passionate about like just the music part of it. So when someone says, "Bro, your beats was fire," I'm like. Yes, thank you.
I know. I'm like, I want to expand my vocabulary. I'm like, I wish I had a different word, but like, it's just like top tier. Oh, like top tier.
I appreciate it.
I'm not even kidding. It's because like, obviously, I've listened to your other albums, y'all. Like, it's just, like you just see your growth. Like in this album, I was like, wow. I'm like, it's just so different. It's so different from what we've heard before. So I just love it. Yeah. I'm just excited for it.
And that was intentional.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to pivot and do something different.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't want to come through with another transparent 2, for example. It's like I was out of that phase, so what does this next phase sound like? Yeah. You know what I mean? Wow. How do I put a sound to this new phase?
Come on, I'm like, you're helping artists right now. You're helping. You're helping. Okay, so the first song, it's called Dreams. Dun, 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 dun,
yeah.
I was like, oh, we gonna figure this out. So, starting with that, I wanted to ask, because you know I actually listen to your lyrics, like deep listen. And so it says, in elementary, you can do, like, pretty much the adults are always like, you can do it all on earth and even take it over. Yeah. Sky's the limit. Sounds so easy as a kid. And then you're like, but then there's all this other stuff that came with it, like wrong people, negativity, innocence gone. And then you get to the chorus and you're like, but no one ever explained how to fight for these dreams. And I was so mad, bro. When I heard that, I was mad because I'm like, why is that so true? Like, that's so true. They're always like, yeah, the sky's the limit, all these things, but no one ever really does teach you how to fight for your dreams. So what I want to ask you is just like, obviously finding out the hard way, like, dang, like people talk about the sky's the limit, but you just having to like work hard through that. Like, so how did you learn how to fight? Was it just like getting into the ring? You're like, we just go, yeah.
100%.
Okay.
You just got to get in that fire.
Okay.
You got to get in that fire with the intention of not like hopping out because I'm obviously not where I want to be yet. We're building up there.
Yeah.
And the hopes is that this project takes us up even further, especially behind the scenes. But you just got to hop in that fire, and without the intentions or the thoughts of wanting to get out if things don't necessarily go as expected, because things don't really go as expected.
Yeah.
And so you got to know how to adjust and pivot, roll with the punches, and just get those scars, if you will, those calluses on your hands, get your hands dirty, get that experience, and it shapes your character. But you don't hop out that fire. It's like, oh man, I didn't know it was gonna be like this, so now I don't want to do this no more. Like, no, wait, you gotta remember what you got in it for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's really it. And me, I don't want to like hop out just because, oh man, it got rough, or maybe because, oh wow, I was dreaming grand, and then now that I see that the work is grand to achieve the grand dreams, like, oh no, I don't want to do this no more. Like, no.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean?
Why is that so true though? That just hurt my soul. I'm like,
Yeah, I mean, it's like we know what we want the end goal to be.
Yeah.
If you have that figured out. But, you know, you have to, like, work backwards. It's like, okay, I want to go here.
Yeah.
Now let me work backwards and figure out what the steps are to get there. And then some things you can map out, but other stuff is like, oh, wow, I didn't see this coming. But this is a requirement. I got to do this. And so you just got to push through it.
Dang, that's so good. That's crazy. Like, we just went to Bible study on Thursday, and so one thing that our pastor was talking about was that he was like, you know, we always know, like, you know, God can reveal the promise. He's like, but the hardest part is the process, because he doesn't reveal how to get there. And I was like, facts.
Yeah,
facts.
you'll find that all throughout the Bible.
Yeah.
And you'll find that in your own personal life too. You know, God may say this is going to happen, or maybe he'll allude to something, but that's the end goal. Yeah. That's the checkpoint. Yeah. You know, he doesn't necessarily tell you or show you right away the road to get there. Right. You know what I mean? Because that's where the faith comes in.
Right. Come on. But the process is important, I would say, because, like, I know one thing also that you talk about often is just, like, character building. And so, so continuing on, the other thing that I wanted to ask was, like, you said something, and I remember, I'm gonna butcher it, so don't get mad.
All good.
Okay, but I remember that you were talking about, you know, your dad would come in from work, and you would.
This is still on. This is like verse 2, right?
Yeah, you're like, my dad would come home, like, if you were I was in 9th grade, and, like, you know, if you were with me, you would see, like, my dad would come home from work, and he'd be like, you need to get your education. Don't be what you see. And so I couldn't remember, but your dad also went to college. He
ended up going to
a trading
theology school.
Oh, he went to theology school.
But that was like, I was like, what, 10, 11 years old? He went to, if I remember correctly, I think he majored in business at first, like way like before the children. And I don't think he finished. Okay. I think he went, cause he had a cool job, and I think he went straight into that more so. Okay. Yeah.
Because obviously your dad has a great job now. Praise the Lord. You know, but it just
made
me.
Pops.
Yeah. Shout out to Pops. That's right. And so, but it just made me think about just like what made him say that. You know, because he was like, because it just sounded like when you said it in the song that he made it a standard. Like, he's like, it doesn't matter if you want to or not. Like, you're gonna get your education. Like, and then the other question is like, so what did you see? Or like, at least what did your dad see to make him feel like, no, like, this needs to happen. Like, y'all can't grow up like how other people grew up, or things like that.
Yeah, well, my dad's always been a hard worker. Okay. One of the jobs he did have required him to be out in the field working outside, and that regardless of whatever the weather is, if you're getting rained on like crazy, you getting rained on, or if you are in 100-degree heat, we shooting this in the middle of a heat wave right now. Yeah, you out there in that heat, and so that it wears on you. Okay. You know what I mean? So his thing was like, if you don't want to find yourself in something like this, unless it's something you really want to do, then that's different. But if you would rather do something else than have to be out there, no matter what the weather condition is, no matter, you know, the 105-degree weather, he would have to be out there, you know, or if it's like 40-some degrees and it's a storm, he would have to be out there doing his thing. If you don't want that, you know, act like you don't want that.
I love
you
that.
know,
No bugs.
so education,
Yeah.
figuring out what it is that you want to do, following through with whatever your goals, and just having a plan.
Yeah.
You know, so that way you don't have to be out here. You can be out here if you want to be.
Yeah.
There's a difference from doing something you want to do versus
Yeah.
doing something that you have to do. You ain't got a choice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was really his thing, and he would have some long days at work, and I would be like 13, 14, and you know, I'm in my kid phase playing video games or whatever, nowhere near what I'm on now. And he would come through the front door, and you could hear the long day in his voice.
Wow.
And he'd be like, man, make sure you just, you know, he's real mild, calm dude, never raises his voice. Like, man, just make sure you get your education. So you ain't got to be doing stuff like this if you don't want to, type of thing. And say it one time, okay, cool. It might go one ear and out the other of a 13, 14-year-old.
Yeah.
But every single time you coming up in here, you trying to drive a point home.
Yeah, no facts.
You're trying to drive a point home. You're trying to make sure that we get something. And I've, thank God, I've just naturally have always been a sponge.
Okay.
Something would stick out to me in the moment, and I wouldn't necessarily know why until several years later.
Okay.
And so those were like one of those things as I was graduating, because I wrote Dreams like maybe a month or two before I had completely finished school.
Wow.
And so those moments were coming back, and yeah, that's that.
Dang. Oh, I love that. I was like, shout out to your dad for real. That is
Shout
awesome.
out Pops.
So then I do want to ask, so do you have mentors or people who have walked like a similar path that kind of help you along the way, or are you really just learning everything on your own, like when it comes to fighting for your dreams?
What did Kobe say? He says some paraphrasing, some song along the lines of like, if you really want to learn something, or you set your mind and heart to learn something, like the world becomes your library.
Okay.
Something like that. So I do have and have had mentors.
Okay.
Whether it's my dad just being my dad, or my grandfathers, you know, the men in my family being who they are, or like maybe even certain, you know, professional athletes or professional musicians that I would like always be fond of and look up to, just listening and watching their interviews, seeing how they work. I like to get my game from multiple places. Okay. You know what I mean? Because everyone has their own experiences. You know, some people went further than others. Some people figured something out differently than others. And so it's like it's good to get that. And another thing my dad would always say would be learn from other people's experiences. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, bet. I'm going to learn from Pops. I'm going to learn from Grandpops and all the men in my fam. I'm going to learn from this dope athlete right here that people keep saying is the greatest or one of the greatest. I'm going to learn from this dope musician right here, this producer, this content creator that figures something out on their own. I'm just going to take it all in.
Come on. You know? You're like, the world is going to be my library. We
literally, yeah.
That is awesome.
I'm going to take it all in.
Come on. Oh, I love that. Okay, and then my last question, my last question on the Dream Alone is, so fear is a huge factor. And so one thing that you said was, you overcame your worst fear, and now you have no fear of lost in you. And so I don't know if it's too deep or not, but like, if you wanted to share with the people about what that greatest fear was, because I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I'm like, so then what was your greatest fear? And like, in having that fear come true, like, how did it just overall just almost become this like superpower where you're like, I ain't got nothing to lose? Like,
it was loss. It was the fear of loss.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
Fear of losing what mattered most. And so that's more of like a callback to Transparent too.
Okay, yeah. I was like, wait, I saw your face. I was like, okay.
It's more of a callback. And I even, speaking of callback to Transparent too, Dream sampled A Moment's Time.
No way.
Yeah. At the chorus, fade into
Stop! I'm gonna have to go back and catch that. I didn't catch that. That's crazy.
The samples A Moment's Time. So
come on.
Yeah, it was that fear of loss, losing something that meant the world to me. Yeah. But like after that happened, and then some time passed, it was like, well, the logic behind that was like, okay, I went through what I felt was going to be the worst. Okay. Went through it, and now I'm still here on the other side.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yes,
different
you are.
and I'm better. So like, well, if I can overcome what I felt was the worst, then I'm good.
Okay.
Like, I feel like I ain't. What if I lose something again, or so what if I fail or scrape my knee up, so to speak, or go through disappointments? I already went through what I felt was the absolute worst. And once you felt like you came up from the absolute worst, it thickens your skin in a way. It's like, okay, you're not really going to be phased by much.
Okay.
Not much is going to intimidate you anymore because you already went through what you felt was the worst.
Yeah. Heard on that, sir. Heard on that.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for sharing. Let's talk about Ain't a Thing.
Ain't a thing. Yeah.
Because don't worry about it.
I'm with you.
Anything I'm concerned about it. It's whatever. I know better. I'm not worried about it. And so, with Ain't a Thing, you said you would have thought I did wrong the way they fire darts at me. It's like they wishing I would fall off. I had to dust. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just saying, ew, the way that I'm saying it is so ugly. I'm sorry. You would have thought I did wrong the way they fire darts at me. At me. It's like,
I would fall.
yeah. I had to dust us off. What's all that about?
It's like they wishing I would fall off.
I had to.
It's like they wishing I would fall off. Or I had the chance to soar off.
For
For
the had
a
the chance
second,
to
I
soar.
might go off, but I won't pay him no mind, no time. I don't worry about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm like, thank you for that. So what is that about? Like, what do you mean?
The court? The courts?
Yeah. Because I'm like, it just sounds like you have enemies or like you have people, that are like gunning for you.
Yeah, so.
Which is crazy because I'm like, you? I'm like, you, sir? Like,
the writer in me, and this is pretty poetic.
okay. Oh, go ahead.
It makes sense because, now we doing the.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I like to personify things.
Ooh, okay.
That's really what it is.
Okay.
I like to give things, non-human things, human characteristics.
Okay.
So I've done that all throughout my music. So if it sounds like if it sounds like I'm talking about a specific person, chances are I'm not.
Wow.
But
ooh, plot twist.
Yeah, it's not a specific person, but a specific voice or a specific thought.
Okay, gotcha.
So like I'll personify my own self-doubt if I'm dealing with that, or my own fear, or my own, stress or worries, and then make that into this person, this thing, and then go from there.
Wow. Does that help for you? Is that almost like almost therapeutic in a sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like I like challenges, I like obstacles.
Okay.
And so
You're rare.
if if I feel like there's someone in my way, then it's like, okay, well now I gotta prove you wrong, or now I gotta show you up, or now I gotta yada yada yada.
Yeah.
So for Ain't a Thing is really me speaking to those voices or those fears or self-doubt or just all of those negative things that I have dealt with that has really just been mind games, hence the mind games written down in that's the point of it. So it's really just me speaking to that.
Wow. Okay.
And my boy Paulo, shout out Paulo, him being the antagonist is like he's like embodying all of that stuff.
Wow.
In that video.
Oh my gosh. It gets so deep. It's so layered. And you say that at some point, you're like, it's layered. And I'm like, it really is. Yeah. That's crazy. Wow. See, look, y'all, when y'all hear stuff like this, now I got to go back and listen or go back and watch so you can better understand. And then you're going to be like, see it in a whole different perspective. I absolutely love that. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, one thing that you did say was that your patient is dying like a polygraph. I don't know if you...
patients dying.
Dying?
That's one.
Okay.
Then like a polygraph, I detect the line. So
yeah.
The polygraph is on, like a lie detector test.
Yes.
A brand that makes them polygraph.
Okay.
So patients dying, that's one scheme over there. That's done.
Okay.
And then like a polygraph, I detect the lies. So I detect the lies that these things are telling me, like a polygraph lie detector test.
Okay. Ooh, Ooh, that was good. You better calm down. You better sit down. Come on. And then one thing that you did was you shouted out to the big God, the one and only living God. Let's go. And then you also talked about your accountability made you better. So I wanted to ask if you can dive a little bit into that, because I know a lot of times when people are reaching their dreams and just going after what they love, sometimes one thing that they can lack is accountability, because they really are just like by themselves. And so because you had that, like, I guess, how did that keep you on the straight and narrow? Like, how did that keep you just like still on the grind?
I think for me is going back to me not being afraid. And what I mean by that is, we've talked about it a bit on Unrehearsed, but wanting to look in the mirror and not just have a filter to only see the good stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see even the ugly things about me, even though I really desire that there isn't anything ugly about me on the inside.
Like, I think we all don't desire that.
I want to see what's there. I want to see the error of my ways, figure out why I did that, how that happened, and figure out how to correct it. And all of that stuff pushes you forward, especially like with what I'm trying to do, since it's very like, okay, I got to work hard. I got to come through. I can't allow like excuses to be made. You know what I mean? It's like, man, if I messed up, if I came up short on whatever, I got to own that.
Yeah.
I got to take that. If I take an L, I got to eat that. I got to take that. So that's where it comes from for me.
Oh, yeah. I love that. And then so when it comes to rap, one thing that you said is that rap, you healed through rap. So like, how has it helped to heal you would say?
Giving me a space to let it out.
Okay. Oh, this is just making me feel so like, okay.
I internalize a lot naturally. And I believe us men in general have challenges when it comes to being vulnerable.
Yes.
From multiple places.
Yeah.
And so first and foremost, giving me a way of like expressing that kind of stuff that normally years beforehand would just kind of stay inside.
Yeah.
And because of that, I'm able to like learn more about myself, learn more about how I think, learn more about how my emotions work, how I process things. And because of that, like I take this to God and I'm like, yo, I actually want to use this to like help or to like inspire, and point it back to you in some sort of way, however you trying to do it.
Yeah.
Because I see that there's a need for this kind of stuff there. And how can I help to provide it for people? So
you're such a beautiful human. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's talk about Make It Happen.
Okay.
Because I don't know how, but I'm going to make it happen.
Yeah.
I was like, let's go. So my first question is resilience part of your DNA?
Yes.
That line had me weak. I was like, I love it. But on a serious note, though, inside of the song, like for myself, I just heard a lot of frustration. And just you talking about like, obviously like you don't know how, but you're going to make it happen. And then you're just talking about how progress is slower. And you make yourself your biggest critic. So that made me think of like, okay, so then are there times where it's almost like the ball is rolling, and then there's other times where it just like really slows down, and then you're just left to kind of just sit in the waiting? Okay.
All the time.
Yeah,
time. I saw like a little post where it's like the climb up is not like linear, but it's like then you go up a little more, and then but eventually you up there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like that. There are like, at least in my experiences, there have been a lot of like frustrations.
Okay.
Because you're figuring stuff out.
Yeah.
And then you have expectations, but things you find out, okay, there's expectation, there's reality. Things play out a little bit different. But Make It Happen. It's just about. It's not like one thing. I don't want to like fake my way out here.
Okay.
Like, I don't want to make it seem like, oh yeah, this is just easy work. I just woke up, I did this, and it was good. Like, nah, bro. Yeah, I woke up, I tried to do that, I got it done, but here's some nonsense that I dealt with along the way and efforts to get it done. You know, especially that's where the back half comes in when the beat switches up. You know what I mean? Where it's look like, hey, yo, we got something promising, and then. Not
First
quite.
of all, you literally switch up the beat so many times on us, but I love it. I'm not even gonna lie. I was like, and just like sitting there, and then I'm like, oh, no, he didn't. I'm like, bro, the whole beat literally just switched, and then you usually bring it back, and I'm like, he's just out here shocking souls. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. So then I also wanted to, because this is like a reality specifically in just your dream and in the work that you want to do, I did want you to touch a little bit on just for the artists that are out there that also have like walked in rooms with executives like and didn't get callbacks or didn't get text backs. Just like, how do you process that? Like, how do you, like, what are the thoughts, you know, that come with that for you, and just how do you continue, like, not get discouraged because you're not hearing anything? Or do you get discouraged and you're like, but we're gonna move forward, it's okay? Realistically
speaking, the first time sucks.
Okay.
Yeah, especially like when you, because they don't necessarily see what you and I see, for example. But if it sucks, and it will, I mean, just me, I'm all about acknowledging, like, how I feel. Like, yo, this sucks. Yeah, I hate how this makes me feel. Yeah, dang, it's a shame that happened. And there's other disappointments that I experienced that just never made it on the song. There's stuff that happened after the song was made. But you can sit there and wallow in it, or you can just get up and keep pushing.
Okay. Like, it's literally just that simple.
It's, like, what I like about the chorus, where I say, I don't know how, but I'm gonna make it happen. Yeah. The wording is what's important throughout this project. It's not like, I'll try, I think I have the option to. It's I have no choice. Yeah. And that's the theme throughout the project. That's why there's the wording at times is the way that it is. Because you do have the option after that to allow it to discourage you, and then you just go and sit down somewhere. Or you can be like, dang, that sucks, but upward and onward. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Like that. We should get a shirt. Upward and onward. New merch. That'd be like funny. Oh, I love that. And then thank you for sharing that. And then I also wanted to ask, so then, because there's a part where you say, now it's back to the logic session. Yeah. And I was like, what did you mean by that?
So that's recording us is where I record. Y'all probably can't see, but my computer's right here recording the audio. This is called Logic Pro.
Oh, okay.
And so when I say back to the Logic sessions, back to the studio, back to the drawing board.
Okay, that's good, because honestly, I thought you meant back to like being practical about life.
That too.
So I was like, I'm here. Logic session. I was like, bro,
I'm here for the double entendres.
Okay, I love that. Okay, I'm here for it. That's awesome. Okay, now we're gonna talk about regrets. Just kidding. We're gonna talk about regrets. And so, do you have regrets for the way your journey has gone? And if you feel comfortable, please feel free to share one.
Like, just the musical journey?
Yeah, musical or life journey. I'm like, it's all about you right now. So
regrets for, I'll keep it music. No, I don't have regrets for the musical journey. Like, it all goes back to me learning more about myself. Okay. Like, I've learned that I've always been a very passion driven or like purpose driven person. So I can't, like, I can't fathom not doing something. Okay. Like, what am I doing if I'm not doing? You know what I mean?
You said being.
Right? like I it's just me. You know, but I want to feel like I'm doing something. You know what I mean? And getting fulfillment.
Yeah, I was going to act fulfilled.
Right. And this is where I get that from. I love that. And so, even say worst case scenario, this doesn't even pan out. The fact that I can rest my head knowing that I literally gave everything, or like push myself to exhaustion and then past exhaustion. Yeah. You know, even if things don't work out, then I can live with that. Okay. But I can't live with, oh man, I had the the itch. I had to pull the tug on my heart to try this out, but I was like, nah. Or I just kind of like half-hearted, you know. I can't live with that, me personally.
Gotcha. So, continuing on, there is a line where you say, on the journey to win, do we have to lose? Can you explain that? Because I was like, oh my God, what does he mean by that? It was interesting because it almost just seemed like an oxymoron. Because it's like, in order to win, you have to lose.
Yeah.
I feel like that's it.
Yeah, that comes with it. That's what I learned. Like,
Okay.
I mean, you could take it in sports. Like, you know, if you use Michael Jordan, for example, yeah, he was undefeated in the finals, but he got bounced out of the playoffs for like 9 straight years.
Wow.
Almost, you know, like in the process of trying to get to that. So it's a part of the process. Like, you're going to experience some sort of loss, some sort of sacrifice of some sort. You know, I talked about fear of loss.
Yeah.
And then that actually happening. And then just thinking that, okay, this is going to happen. Like, no, I got to take that L here. I got to take that L there, yada, yada, yada. But the goal is still the same, which is, you know, you on the way of learning how to win, you're gonna lose.
Because there's lessons in losing.
Exactly. And then that's how you figure out how to win or like how to push and keep going. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because that reminds me of the question that I was going to ask you originally, which was just because one thing that you had just said was just like, you know, if things don't pan out, you're like, I can go to bed like at peace with the fact that you did everything that you could. And so, but with that, would you say that you're quitting? Because I was like, then at some point, is there a point where you're like, okay, I just need to quit. Like, I just need to go on about my days and do something else with myself. No, seriously.
I'm not quitting.
Okay.
I'm not stopping.
Make it clear.
I'm
Make it
not
plain
stopping.
for the people. Okay.
But on a smaller, like overall, I'm not stopping. But on the smaller sense, like, okay, if I want this particular project or song to do this thing, whatever it may be, and it falls short of that, but there's still like was some progress there.
Okay.
Even though I missed the top goal, I can live with the fact that I did everything I possibly could, what I knew to achieve that top goal. And there's these little smaller victories there. So now I can retool and try again.
Okay, I love that.
You know what I mean? It's not like, oh man, this didn't work. So now, okay, pack him up. It's all done.
Wow, that was great.
Yeah.
You know, is it 3 albums?
Was that?
How many albums have you had?
This is like, what is this? This is technically a mixtape. This is project number 7.
Wow.
Yeah.
God, I need to go back.
Yeah. The first one is currently hidden. Yeah.
On the face. It's okay.
Yeah,
we don't have to talk about
it's
it.
hidden.
It's fine. And so then one line that you had was, I take a step and trust God to align the rest. And so I wanted to ask if you could share like a moment where you did take a step and you felt like God started aligning things in place for you to like move forward.
When I went on the tour.
Okay.
Yeah. It was actually shortly after I wrote the song Dreams, graduated college. Then a few weeks later, I went on a tour, well, parts of a tour. Went to LA first, and then it was Oakland and Fresno. And then my obligations for that tour was done. But it was through that tour that I ended up meeting somebody very important.
Okay.
I ended up meeting Mike.
Yes. Okay, I saw the face.
Met him in LA, and everything began to open up from there. And so that's one example.
Okay.
Took one step.
Yeah.
Didn't know necessarily what to expect. And technically speaking, things did not, for that particular LA moment, things did not go as expected, but better things happen.
Wow, that's amazing.
And so you can't necessarily predict this stuff.
Yeah, no, you really can't.
You can't really predict this stuff. I think the most important part, as far as a journey goes, and I talk about it on the back half of Make It Happen, is having that sense of direction. You know, at least just know where you're going, what you're trying to do, and then everything else will open up. You know what I mean?
You said bada bing, bada boom. I'm like, okay. Already. I've searched, sir. Because I love that one. That one you're like talking on the track. I was like, oh my God, I love this. Like, I just felt like I was like, you know, you were just there. Like, you're just like, see, I'm out here trying to do me. I'm out here trying to do my dream. I was like, tell us, let us know. What was the inspiration behind this song?
Frustration.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, similar to like Make It Happen, but this one was not so much as regards to like trying to make it in the music business, but like just the economy. Like the world around me.
Yeah.
You know, outside of music. It just so happened that like I found the right piece of music. It was a good find.
Come on.
Finding that right piece of, it's called the original piece is called Sticky Sue.
Sticky Sue. I like that.
And I listened to it, and when I got to that part, that where Brad's like, he's like, I said,
I love that.
Like, I feel that.
Yeah.
Like, I feel that in my own way. And so it was just a matter of just taking all of the pieces that I wanted when sampling this, developing a pocket for it. It's very like repetitive, you know, but it's a groove. It's a funk. It's a rhythm.
It is.
So,
that's what it is. It's funk. I was like, I can't put my finger on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just make a pocket out of that, and then just kind of vent frustration.
Okay.
You know, and that's where that one came from.
Okay, it was a good one.
Yeah.
It was a good one. One of my favorites. I'm not gonna lie. That beat got me though. I was like, dang, like that's good though. That's good.
That's my for me. Someone asked me like what my favorite song on this project, and it's like it's really hard to ask an artist that because everything is like a certain representation of them.
Yeah.
But if there was like a standout one for me, it would be I've Searched. Just because I've never done something like that, and it's very like it's like old school, but I figured something out with that. I can't even put my finger on it, but I figured something out to where it's like I could rap on this, and then at the end we're gonna be like very old school and traditional, and then we're gonna give space for like the band, really the sample, but the band to just kind of like groove a little bit. Where just that ending part.
Come on.
But yeah. Okay. I like that one.
Wow, I could tell. Look at that smile. Okay. Next, would love to talk about Show Up. I just have to say, you already know my favorite line is the like, I'm nice though. I left the bad one. I go for y'all. Out for y'all folks. Huh? I was like, he's so funny. I love that. Can you just talk about, so I want to know how do you continue showing up even after hearing different stories about other people? Because you say, I've seen a couple people go hard, then they stop. I've seen a couple people stand tall, then they drop. And so like, how do you yourself like not get discouraged or almost like become fearful where it's like, dang, like, is that going to be me? Or is that?
Am I next? Yeah, I mean, you just... At some point, it'll boil down to like, how bad do you want it?
Okay.
You know, how bad do you really want it?
Yeah.
Like, I look at the life I'm trying to build.
Yeah.
And then I look at the life that I could settle for. Not a bad life.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make it seem like it's whack.
Yeah.
It's not. But we're going back to like fulfillment.
Yeah.
And I got to be proud of myself at the end of the day.
Yeah, this is
and
so good.
I mean, okay, they X, Y, and Z may have dropped off. Maybe they discovered it wasn't really their passion anymore. Maybe it was just too much for them. Obviously, I've had my struggles too, and continue to have my struggles because nothing is easy. There's no free lunch.
Yeah.
But if it's real, what you really truly want to do, then you're gonna go through it. Suck it up, I guess. Like I mean at some point it's, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And you got to do what must be done.
Yeah.
And so if there's X amount of years of just building and development, if there's slow progress, you know, with me it's slow progress, and I recognize it was going to be slow progress early just because of the way that the music is crafted. I personally, and I may be wrong, But I personally don't think I make the kind of stuff where, okay, and let me just do this little TikTok dance and it's going to go viral.
Yeah.
I think even the lighthearted stuff like Show Up is too complex at times.
Yeah.
And so now you got to get it a different way in terms of execution. So means doing a lot of dirty work behind the scenes that the cameras are not going to see. That means not just making noise, but figuring out how to make all the noise in the right places, which the cameras don't often see. Okay. And so, but if it's what you truly want, then you're going to stick to it.
Yeah. So I know that you are pretty disciplined. And that's why you can, that's why you can make a song like Show Up, because there's discipline in your life. Praise God for that.
Yes.
And so with that being said, how would you encourage somebody who struggles in that area when it comes to discipline? Because it's like, how do you not overwork yourself, or do you overwork yourself? That laugh, Lord. Just kidding. Next
is thing. Overwork anyway? Nah. How to encourage someone to be disciplined? Well, you got to start small. I didn't wake up on a random Tuesday like this. It was built over time. Yeah. And consistency. So it starts off with developing a form of consistency, and you got to understand, you got to want even the tough things about this. What I'm about to say is going to sound crazy to people that don't understand, but you got to want the sacrifices that come with this. It's like, it's going to be very hard. It's going to change you. You might miss out on some things, or whatever it may be, but you got to work your mind into craving that kind of stuff. Okay. It's very psychological, so, and just having consistency, understanding that you're not going to get to the top of the mountain if you don't start to climb. So if you sit there at the bottom and being like, dang, I really want to get up to the top, you're going to be wasting all of that time. You're going to be wasting a bunch of time where you could be developing ways and moving up to the top. And so it's start off with a consistency and just developing a routine, a pattern, and it becomes a habit, and then you keep doing that, and then it next after a while it becomes a lifestyle. Next it's what you do. It's part of who you are. And so start small, build your way up, but you got to get up and move. But yeah.
Okay. So how do you keep from overworking, or is overworking part of the sacrifice?
Everyone's different.
Okay, you kind of made a joke, so I was like, let's talk about it really quick.
Everyone's different, but for me, I genuinely love what I do.
Okay. Oh, love that.
And I just so happen to also be a workaholic.
Okay. Wow. So you're just like a beautiful machine over here, huh?
It was just God-given, like God crafted, like put in the right qualities and stuff. And there was little seeds of this early on, like in middle school, something like that, where, for example, most kids maybe would come home after school, toss their backpack down, chill for a little bit, maybe procrastinate on the homework till like the night before. I would come home, and since my mind was still fresh on school, I'm home, walk through the door, take the backpack off, pull out the assignments. We knocking this out right now. Okay. And just developing that kind of work ethic. Even then, I didn't even realize what I was really building.
That's crazy.
What I was doing. I was just like, I want to get this done now so I ain't got to worry about it later.
Right.
But I was really, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you got to find a balance in terms of overworking. Okay. Me, I can do this like all day, every day. Okay. And then scheduled rest would be something I would have to work on going forward, but the mind doesn't shut off. Like, these ideas keep coming. Like, if you would see if you yourself were able to see like what's on like my whiteboard, like concept projects and all that stuff that I'm actually working on and stuff like that, it's like, oh yeah.
Oh, I love your brain. I love your brain. Also wanted to remind you, beautiful humans, that Show Up specifically, Show Up, and then we haven't gone into that one. But Show Up has a music video, if y'all haven't seen it. Same thing as Ain't a Thing has a music video as well. So make sure that y'all watch that. No lie, we have to do the band. Like, we don't know how. We're just gonna put it out there. Like, somebody, if you have a band, like, Show Up would be such a great band song. Kid you not. So just go for it. Try it. I was like, at DaeShawn Forrest. I'm like, at Voice of This Generation. Like, just get crazy.
It is.
At Forever Transparency. Like, people. Okay, next I wanted to talk about Better Myself. Better Myself for me.
Which also has a music video too.
Yes, it does. I'm in it. I was like, I'm in the music video, guys.
You're in all 3 of them.
I am. Let's go. Me. That's why I'm promoting it. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. But Better Myself. Okay, so I'm just gonna say it. Like, you were obviously, are you specifically talking about females? As for Better Myself, because like I noticed like in all the. Well, obviously in what you said, and then also in your lyrics, also in your music videos, it's just like different women. And so, I'm asking that because are you just confessing that that's like, that can be something that distracts you?
Relationships, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, it's just natural attraction, really. It's not like.
I mean, it is. It's okay.
It's natural. It's just not like, anything crazy, but in efforts to like lock in, you gotta sacrifice something.
Okay.
So if you figure out what your tics are, or the things that easily trigger you, or will take your mind off of things, it's like you gotta, once you discover that, act accordingly. So yeah,
okay.
it was more so like, okay, leave this relationship ideas and stuff like that alone for right now.
Yeah, because I was like, dang, he going a little hard on this song. Hold on, because we were like, wonder why I'm to myself now, 1 of the million reasons. Not 100 rule, it's fine towards me. You're like trying to hit me with the back engine drama out on it. I was like, dang, like, but you were speaking facts at the same time, because I was like, no, he does make a very good point. And so I'm sure that, I love putting you on the spot like this. I know you probably hate it, but because I feel like, the people want to know. I feel like the women want to know, are you single right now?
Yes.
Yes. Are you mingling?
No.
Say it again. Are you mingling?
No.
Okay, keep that in mind. Okay, ladies? Okay. We got to talk about Day.
Yeah.
Bro, we got to talk about Day. So, because, I had already heard it, but then, like, hearing it on the album, but, like, really listening to the lyrics and, like, replaying it, I was like, dang. And I'm sure you threw everybody and their mama off at the end.
Including my mama.
She said, literally, my own mother.
Including my mama.
And it's just like, I know it's like a heavy song. It's a heavy topic. So first thing I want to ask or just talk about is one thing that you said was oblivious. This past birth instigated a war. What were you speaking of?
Yeah, I was speaking more so in a spiritual sense.
Okay.
So one of the points of Day is to establish that the dream ultimately precedes me.
Ooh, this is getting good.
So me coming onto the scene is like, I believe that this is my own thing. I believe because like, okay, yeah, the devil attacks you because of X, Y, Z. Maybe he knows that God is going to do something or whatever. Well, then there has to be some sort of declaration of what will be done with this person. Not whoever the person is, doesn't have to be me. And so all of that to say is before I even had this dream that I ended up being so passionate about, the attack started years before, and it started pretty early. And so then won't go too much into what I'm about to say next, but then like fast forwarding a little bit, still before I knew what was really there, I found myself in scenarios where it's like, nah, I don't think I'll pursue music. Like before I actually started, like I think I'll go, because I was always a little really book smart and also can work hard physically. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll go here, something that's a little bit more safe and just kind of, but every path kind of led me back to, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, I think, well, now I'm thinking about doing this again. You know what I'm saying? And then eventually it was like, okay, and I'm gonna do it. And so, but yeah, Day, yeah.
I was like, I'm not done though. I'm not done.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So who was this cousin that everybody knew at high school? If you want to share, I was like, what is happening? First of all, wait, can you walk us just through your experience? Like, obviously you had to move, you were devastated. And then you came to high school and you were just like, kids were just wilding. Like they were just like.
Yeah. So, it was one of my older cousins.
Okay. You don't have to share.
Yeah. I won't. Yeah. It was one of my older cousins. It was, coming to school in general.
Okay. Like out here, you mean like in
just public
the,
schools,
okay.
public school in general. Wasn't necessarily high school.
Oh, okay.
But so yeah, it was that, and then I'm sorry, I missed the other question. It was.
I wanted to know who your cousin was, and then I also wanted to know like just sharing your experience, cause
with moving, yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, I did not want to move. By the time we moved, I had just started my teen years, and I had been in the North Bay. Shout out Fairfield Sassoon. I had been there for like 9, almost 10 years. And so the people that I knew at the time, we knew each other since we were like 4 or 5 years old.
Wow, that's beautiful.
And so I'm thinking, I just assuming we're finna graduate.
Yeah.
Go through high school and graduate together.
Right.
Many of them lived in the same neighborhood as me, or right outside the neighborhood in other neighborhoods and stuff, or right down the way past the train tracks and stuff like that. And so, and it was pretty abrupt. It wasn't like there was like signs, you know, oh man, this might happen. It was like I came home from school one day and boom, this is what's happening.
Okay, I was gonna ask you because that's literally what you said. I was like, I'm assuming that's actually how it happened.
Yeah, I came home from school one day and we, you know, that's when my parents was like, this is what's gonna happen. And yeah, and I was like, oh, you know, and then
I mean, you couldn't sleep on the ride there.
Yeah, and when the actual move happened, I was just like so upset because it's, I mean, you're a kid, you don't have a say in the matter, so you gotta just suck it up. But like, you know, I felt the roots that were there. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I didn't
ripped out of your heart. Yeah.
Or yeah, I didn't want to, you know, I didn't want to move. I had some partners, some friends, just people in general, families that I knew that I was really cool with, and they have watched me growing up, and I've grown up with their kids and knew their younger siblings, and you know, even with the church with a couple of them, and there was history, and so. And I've always been like, even, you know, an emotional kid. So it's like, I feel that kind of stuff. It means something to me. And so when we moved to the East Bay, moved to Antioch, Pittsburgh, part of me was just bitter, just upset. Okay. And just mad. And then you run into and I won't get into this, but then just running into some interesting characters that I was not fond of. Okay. And then... yeah, even like, yeah, that was just a mess. And
we're just talking about in school, or are you also talking about like neighborhood, just like
just
community?
School.
Oh, okay.
Just school. Okay. But, you know, all the school kids don't live far from each other.
Yeah.
And so you don't know who you might find in your neighborhood.
Yeah, that's true.
That you just moved into.
Yeah.
But things got better when I ended up meeting a cousin of mine out there, and we didn't even... the funny thing was we didn't even know we were related. This
happens to you often, I feel.
It's happened a few times. But once that happened, and, you know, then things, okay, this feels a little better now. I got some family. I got some people out here. Okay, good. Now, you know, folks ain't, you know, yada, yada, yada. But, yeah.
Okay, thank you. And so then you say he had a friend with the same name. And so specifically, I just want to quote how you said, his friend had worse battles, never uttering those unutterable. I know you said something else after that. I did not catch it. But then it says because they were vulnerable.
Yeah, unutterable. They jailed because they were vulnerable. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, they jailed. We jailed because they were vulnerable.
Yeah. And then you go into depression. And so, like, you specifically talk about depression, and then you also talk about, like, just the stress, the pressures of fitting in, you know, and then you also started talking about suicide because you're like, thoughts about placing that period at the end of the life sentence. And so y'all were still in your teens. Okay. So then being in your teens, like, I mean, I guess, like, how come y'all couldn't really find. Well, honestly, I just want to talk about like how hard it is to be a man when it comes to like having emotions like that. Like for women, I feel that we're a lot more vocal about it. Like, you know, we can talk about our emotions a lot more easier. But I would say like, was it really hard for you and for this friend to like almost like have to wear a shell when you go places, and then just like not having a safe space, or just like maybe not even having the right tools or skills to be able to like express like, this is how I'm feeling. Like, and I just don't know how to like get rid of this feeling. I don't know how to get it out.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little weird. I think some of it was like, okay, now you're starting puberty, so now you're feeling stuff you ain't felt before, and then like your mind is racing on crazy stuff. The thing with Day the song is that I pieced several stories together.
Okay.
So the story of Day in the song is like, there's the story of Day, which is based off of true events from several stories.
Okay.
And so the in real life story of Day, the other day was someone that I had met from where I had moved. So it wasn't, okay, I moved and then I met this person.
Yeah.
And the real story is actually someone I had met when back in where I originally started.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. I know it sounds confusing. I like doing that kind of stuff too. I like taking bits and pieces from multiple stories and crafting one. You know what I mean?
That's an art.
I like doing that as well. But as far as like just speaking, I mean, as guys, I think we normally internalize a lot naturally anyway, and may not always know how to communicate that. And then guys in general just don't normally have that kind of space to be vocal anyway. So one of the reasons why I love Unrehearsed, we create that safe space for everyone.
Oh my God, yes.
And then there's a lot of details from the real life stories that I omitted.
You don't have to get all into it.
But then because of the stuff that I was dealing with mentally, and the fact that I was away from what I felt was home, and I didn't want to be there. Yeah. The way I processed and handled things was to my detriment. Okay. Unknowingly at the time. Yeah. And that's where all of that other stuff started coming, like, you know, very negative thoughts and, you know, thoughts of suicide and stuff like that. Because if you're under some weird kind of pressure, naturally you're going to want some sense of relief. So, but the sense of relief that would come to mind was obviously
the like life sentence with the period.
Life sentence with the period. But
dang, I'm like, it's just gonna get deeper.
I hope that doesn't ruin the song story that's happening.
No, I don't think it does. No, not at all. I was like, it was good though. I was like, we could just, you know what? I'm like, you guys, you could just think that it was one whole person.
It's like, the person is a person, a singular person. But the story of Day was crafted from like 3 different stories. Okay. What happened to the person actually happened. Okay. That part,
which we're gonna get to, don't worry.
Okay. But the pathway getting there was taken from that part and that part. All of the stuff that was happening within a certain amount of time.
Dang. Yeah. Okay. So, y'all, when y'all hear this song, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a spoiler alert. So if you haven't watched it, literally pause it right now. I'm not going to say anything else. I'm going to give you like a couple of seconds, but pause it right now and go listen to Day. So then when I say this next part, it's not like a shocker to you. I don't want you to like hear it from me.
Spoiler alert.
And then not be shocked. So it is a spoiler alert. So pause it and go listen to Day and then come back. And then I will continue my thoughts. So obviously the song was going great. It was like, dang, okay. It's like, we're talking about, you know, depression. We're talking about like childhood experiences, you know, moving, coming to a place, like new people, finding a friend. Oh my God, we have the same name. That's so cool. I love that. And then, then it's just like, you know, like you said, you were like dealing with puberty, dealing with depression, dealing with fitting in, just almost like, it really is such a weird stage, but there's
very weird.
So much stuff happening at once.
It's weird.
And like you really trying to like
make sense of it.
Yeah, make sense of it. I
don't like being confused. So even in a confusing state, like I will go to great lengths to try to make sense of it. So yeah.
And so all that stuff was happening. And then, and then you're just talking about depression. You're just talking about, exactly what you said, the thoughts that you have towards depression. And then literally the shock of the story at the end is like, he lost his friend to suicide. And then it just like,
yeah.
I remember the first time that I heard it, my heart broke. I was like, oh my God, stop right now. And so it really is.
Not to cut you off, but you notice just from an artistic sake, but you notice how after that, the sample that says my heart beats slows down and then fades out.
I didn't. Y'all have to, I was like, now I'm really going to have to re-listen to it. Lord, my heart is like breaking.
Everything is intentional.
Everything is intentional.
Yeah.
So I do want to ask you, it's like, it is deep. So I'm just, you know how I am. So yeah, I was like, thank you. Just give me a free for all. But so how did that affect you? Like just hearing, how you lost a friend to suicide? Because that's not something lightly. Like how did you process that? Just like knowing, somebody that you love, somebody that you grew up with, somebody that you like, like they were your friend, like deeply. So yeah.
It was rough. He wasn't the first one that I lost. It wasn't the other one that I'm thinking of. It wasn't to often themselves. It was to gun violence. But both young, early 20s. It was rough. But by that time, we weren't close anymore. It's like life took me this way, life took him that way. And so there was no bad blood or anything in the real life story. But it felt it was, I don't know how to explain it other than it being hard, because like they were mentally dealing with the same or similar things that I had dealt with. So I guess what they call it, survivor's remorse or something, I don't know, but like they were dealing with the similar thing mentally, and that was too much for them. Whereas I dealt with it and it was like, yeah, it was bad, it crushed me down, it was the worst, but God allowed me to still be here.
Yeah.
So, but you never really know what someone's going through. Not every, especially us men, we're not necessarily vocal like that.
Yeah.
And so, how would things have played out if maybe reached out to him like, hey, bro, it's been a minute, bro. You know what I'm saying? How you been? You good? It's been some years. Or if they had done that or something like that. So, but it was tough. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for talking about it. I know it's like hard to talk about.
Yeah.
I got somewhere to go.
I got somewhere to go.
So I'll be back. Just kidding. So I got somewhere to go. I just love this song. In this song, I feel like you really hear your determination and you just hear your like you said, your passion. Like you're just like, we got some place to be. Like wherever we at, we're not staying there. Like we got somewhere to be. One lyric that I do want to talk about is, sorry.
I feel like I know what you're about to say, but go ahead.
The dream won't cost me my soul, just an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
Wait, which one do you think I was going to say? No, say it. Come on.
I thought you was going to bring up the Rosario Dawson lyric.
The what?
The Rosario Dawson lyric.
Which is? Honestly, don't know who that is. I'm so uncultured.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. I'll show you who they are. She's an actress.
Okay.
But yeah, verse 2, when I was, was tripping and lost in eyes of my Rosario Dawson, talking about a girl.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't, you know me so well, though, because if I would have caught it, I would have probably brought it up.
But yeah.
So the dream won't cost me my soul. Just an arm and a leg.
Yeah, success won't have to cost my soul, just an arm and a leg. Aw.
Was that a double entendre? Or no? I only ask because the music industry, just like people, selling their soul. So I was like, interesting.
My thing was like, okay, yeah, it may not cost that, or may not have to pay that price, but you're gonna pay an arm and a leg, so to speak. Like it's, these kind of grand dreams is gonna cost you, in terms of just sacrifice, putting the work and putting the effort in, and you can't put a monetary price on it. So, man, it's an arm and a leg out here, you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's what I meant by that.
Okay.
You know, and I just like the play on it because, you know, because of like what you said, you know. So it's like, yeah, you know, it's just gonna have to cost my soul, just an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
Like it's still a part of you
literally.
that has to go up for this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's ultimately what I was getting at.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that.
That's why you put it in. I like that for you.
I like that. Especially the awe at the end of it. I feel like that's what helps to hit, like, drive it home.
Come on. I love that. Is there something else that you would like to share on that song?
On that song?
In particular, I Got Somewhere to Go.
No, that one was, like you said, is very determination driven. Just desiring to, like, you know, man, I got somewhere to go. You know, if it's not, if success isn't here and it's out there, I got somewhere to go. It is what it is. It's no, again, with the wording, it's not like, I have the option to. I can try to. No, it's like, no, I got somewhere to go.
Yeah,
like,
I
gotta go there.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't got a choice. I got somewhere to be. Excuse me. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I love that one. And that's another good find where I was just like diving through the crates and I found this gem. Like, I want to say that the artist is overseas. And it's just a gem. And I was like, yo, this is dope. And then I found my pocket, found my groove, and then boom.
There it was.
There it was.
Come on.
There it
it's
was.
Magic. Just
kidding. Found it.
Come on.
That's one of my favorites as well.
I love that. And so next I want to talk about A Better Way to Live. I would identify this as a prayer track.
Yeah. It definitely starts off that way. Yeah, it definitely starts.
I was like, okay.
I feel like I hopped off of that angle in the third verse. But yeah.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like just to start, I was like definitely a prayer track, and I was like, ugh. And so first things first, are those like actual? These are like real conversations that you've had with the Lord. I'm gonna assume.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
In a sense. Yeah.
Okay. And then you say. One thing that you said, I was like, this breaks my heart. But I'm like, but that's, I mean, you're just reflecting. Am I a misguided victim of my youth's ambition?
My youthful ambition.
Ambition.
Yeah. Yeah. What about that?
I was like, just elaborate.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Because obviously that's a thought that you had in your head before. Like,
yeah. Yeah. So you have those kind of thoughts in your head. I think they're natural. Just like, man, is this real? Like, I know I'm dreaming big, but am I unrealistic here? Is pretty much what I'm getting at.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, am I being unrealistic? Am I actually really doing this? That's where it comes from.
Okay, dang. But you are actually really doing it.
I'm actually really going for this. We're actually
You're
really doing
going
this.
for it. This is exciting.
Yeah.
I love how in this song you identified what was going on like mentally with you, and you're like, listen to this loud voice saying I should quit. And so like, would you say that voice only comes in those moments where you feel discouraged, or you feel like even when you're like, yeah, I'm passionate, I got this, like that voice will still try to like make its way in and be like, but you really should quit? Like, because you said a shout, so I was like, this voice ain't whispering. This voice is like, right. You should quit.
Yeah, it's definitely, well, those kind of negative voices are definitely louder when it's like, if there are moments of discouragement. But you just kind of power through them. Yeah. And there's moments where it's like, at least earlier on, this was very like early on stuff written. There's moments where they're like quiet because I'm feeling like really passionate. I'm really going. I'm doing this. Okay, I ain't hearing nothing. Whatever. And then it's like, dang man, something ain't work out that I was really, really hoping would work out. That really would have yielded pretty good results had it had worked out. And then it's like, dang, am I playing out here? Like, am I wasting my time out here? Like, I feel very strongly about time in general, so I would hate to be like, dang, all of this happened in vain. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that, yeah.
Okay. I did have a follow-up question with my brain. Oh, not so much a follow-up question. Y'all know I'm a comedian, so all that to be said, when it's like this voice is like, you should quit, you're like, you should quit, right? Okay. We're just going to talk back to the voice, okay? It's okay. How does it affect you when other people can their dreams? like specifically in this industry? Because that is one thing that you did talk about in this song. And so I know I ask a lot of questions.
No, you're good.
Okay,
no, you're good.
but I know, but so I was gonna say, like, one, like, are these people that are either close to you or that you followed closely, and then you see like, wow, they stopped, like,
Pretty much, yeah.
okay,
People that I met along the way that I knew and that had serious like talent. Like, yo, if you just keep getting your reps in, you know, tuning the craft, you know, sharpening the skills, you could really, and then of course position yourself the right way, meet the right people, you know what I'm saying? Get out the house, go to the conferences, go to the concerts, go just keep showing your face, keeping yourself involved. Like, bro, you really do something. You know what I mean? Just seeing that potential. And I would see some of that potential, and then, you know, I root for people. And, you know, especially if I had a chance to develop a relationship with them.
yeah,
And so if for whatever reason they stop, then it's like, dang, yo, like I wanted to see.
yeah,
I wanted to see you win,
succeed,
bro.
yeah.
I wanted to see you make it. And I like encouraging people because I understand how it is, me being one of them. I understand how it is. There's moments where you could discourage yourself if you're not careful. Like, I get that.
Yeah.
So I want to give you that encouragement. I want to like be like, hey, bro, I'm rooting for you. This is fire. This is good.
Yeah.
You know, before I pulled into the driveway and pulling up to the set, someone last night had sent me something that they wanted me to critique. And so, because, you know, they see me constantly, so it's like, hey, bro, let me just get your thoughts on this, bro. Like, yeah, bro, I got you.
Oh, I love that.
Sent some messages back, and I was like, yo, I really like this. You could do X, Y, Z. And then I started sending them ideas. Like, here's what I mean. So I started recording ideas into my phone and sending it to them. I like doing that kind of stuff because I understand how difficult it can be, because the path of an artist at times, and regardless of what kind of art, it can kind of be a lonely one, or it can kind of be like, you know, the claps are few, you know, and so I want to, if I see you doing it and I see you for real about it, I want to like, hey, bro, you got this, keep going, bro.
Would you say that happens often though in the industry, in the music industry? Like, cause yeah, I'm just like, does that happen often?
Like people stopping?
No, not people stopping. I just mean like what you just said. Because like, for example, somebody sent something to you and they're like, oh, I'll critique this. Like, would you say that in like the music industry, like when it comes to artists, like, is it often that there's a community and a space created where like everyone's like, you know, rooting for each other and they're like, hey, like I can help you with that, not a problem? Or would you say it's like a man eat man world? Like it's like everybody for themselves?
It's kind of both.
Okay.
It's kind of both.
Okay.
It's kind of everyone for themselves, and at the same time, if you link with the right people, you can create that space.
Okay.
I've seen both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you want your legacy to be?
My legacy.
I was like, talk about it.
Man. On a grand scale, or like, well, I'll just say what comes to mind.
Say it all. Like, tell the people.
I want, if I was to boil it down to very simplistic terms, I just want to impact. I want to impact the world. You know, I want the legacy to be, in so many words, that I did it authentically. I did it honestly. I did it the old-fashioned way through just hard work and being educated in the field. Yeah. You know, smart business deals, and actually cared about, you know, God's people out here. Everyone, because everyone was made by God. And really having that authentic heart in the art, and with the message and the approach and the way I carried myself. That's in simplistic terms. It's way more deeper than that, but that's what it essentially boils down to. For myself, I want to be able to look at myself in the mirror and be like, fulfilled.
You like, you did that, bro.
Like, we did it. Like,
that was your big one.
We had a dream. We had a plan, a plan of attack. Yeah. And it was grand. And this isn't a kind of dream where it's like, okay, within the next 6 months, I want to, I mean, there's parts of it where it's like, okay, in the next 6 months to a year, but this is like this is a lifetime kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, this is a life kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I want to be able to look at myself and be like, we did it. Like, mission accomplished. Like, you know, all glory to God. Pat yourself on the back a little bit. You didn't give up. You know, you did what you said you was going to do. And how things played out, which is for the most part out of my control.
Yeah.
It's how it played out. It's what it is.
Okay.
But yeah.
I have to like say this part inside of this song because I was like, oh my gosh. Because you said, I know, I'm sorry. I was like, you know how I am. Because it was like, my heart is more than crafting a bar. Or people saying that my records are hard.
Yeah.
The layers to this are profound, which we're seeing. Built up my faith that holds down the ship as an anchor. Waves of doubt, they crash on me every day. But we came too far, can't quit now, let's live.
Yeah.
I was like, I just wanted to share that. I just thought that was so beautiful. I'm like, this is so sweet. Because I do feel that a lot of times, and not only that, but so I feel that a lot of times, like, we've seen it before, you know, there's all these artists and they just come up like super humble, you know, and then it's like at some point, like they switch up on the people, you know, and it's like all the people that, you know, rocked with them. They're like, oh, it's almost like you get to Hollywood and then it's just like, you're a whole different person. But as for yourself, like, I know one thing about you is that you always have been like, you know, a man of God. You've always been very down to earth, like, and you've always been about the team. Like, you're not just like, it's all about me. You're like, no, we have a team. Like, you know, like there's other people dependent on me too and things like that. And so, all that to be said, I just thought it was like just such a great way to like share your heart about how it's not just about like, oh, like the beats are hard, which they are. The beats are hard, people. We're going to keep saying that. The beats are hard, but it is a lot more than that. Cause like you said earlier, like you really are just trying to like find a way to help people, you know, and just like wanting people to hear the message. So yeah, I just love that about you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Next, that's all right. That's all right. So you're talking about how you work hard for your peace. How do you keep your peace?
How do I keep my peace?
Yes, sir.
Well, my peace is rooted in God first and foremost.
Amen.
And just having that confidence and faith that, you know, because I put hopefully with, I know we're talking about that's all right, but hopefully with a song like A Better Way to Live, you see that I'm putting it in the hands of God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not just like trying to wing it. Like, I'm planning, of course, but like I understand that I can only do so much, and the rest is going to be up to the big dog upstairs. And so, I keep my peace by just having that confidence and that faith in God, and in the sense that I heard a preacher say it like this. Shout out at Elder Hamlin. He said, God won't take you nowhere where God won't take you nowhere where his grace won't cover you or won't protect you. So if I've been pulled here throughout my entire life and then I finally like, all right, we're finna do it, then there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
And in spite of, because everyone has their own viewpoints and stuff like that, in spite of what some may say over here or some may say over there or yada, 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 God's in control. Like, if I literally get everything that I'm going for, to God be the glory. If I get most or half or just a quarter or maybe something I didn't even expect, something I didn't foresee, to God be the glory. And like I said, my peace is in God, and then also I can rest my head on the fact that I gave it all I got, no matter how things turn out.
Yeah. Thank you. Such a great answer.
Thank you.
Can you talk about navigating friendships?
Okay.
Because it was just interesting on this track because you just talked about, you know, how your close friends really help you get through to the end. But then you also started talking about how, what did you say? You said some swore they'd stay forever and disappeared. Some suddenly throw backhanded compliments or unknowingly feed fear into your ears. And then you said, this is the part where most quit. Man, I'm convinced.
Yeah. navigating friendships.
Yeah, that's what. But all that was like a lot to process, and I was like, wow, like
to unpack. I mean, it's largely just kind of going through life. Life experiences. People come and go. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's deeper. Sometimes it's that simple. Mm-hmm. Just people coming and going.
Okay.
And yeah, that's really what it all just boils down to. But as you go and just keep going forward, mm-hmm. The people that are still there, people that stick around, mm-hmm. are the people that are meant to be there.
Okay.
And so, and I didn't mean it from the sense of, oh yeah, I'm throw shade on the people that came and went.
Oh yeah, I definitely.
Because I ain't going.
It doesn't go like that through the music. It doesn't sound like that.
Because I don't want to make it seem like I ain't came and went out of somebody's life either. So
it's everyone else.
Right. But like it's just people come and go. So dealing with that reality. Some people you thought, okay, they may stick around a little longer, or some people are here for the chapter, some people are here for the whole book. Mm-hmm. It's literally what it is.
I like that. Yeah. Quote him. I don't know where you got that, but that was good. Do you really love who you're becoming?
Yeah, I do, and I'm still learning mm-hmm. who I'm becoming. Mm-hmm. I feel like I'd understand what God is making me out to be several years down the line. Mm-hmm. But the stuff that I have been able to see, been able to take note of, it's different. Yeah, it's a little different.
Okay. And the beat goes crazy, y'all. The beat goes crazy. I'm gonna put it out there. He switched it up on us again. I was like, I cannot with this man. But it was so good. So good. So y'all gonna have to listen to the whole album. If you have not already, listen to it.
On all platforms, it's there.
All of them. And then, we're wrapping up.
Yeah.
Finding out. The song made me want to give you a hug. I was like, oh my gosh. It really did. Like, because this song, this is about like just kind of like the now. It's about the now that you're in now. Mm-hmm. Not the now that you were in then. No, I'm just kidding. But it's about the now that you're in now. So I literally wrote the beat alone made me want to cry. Because it was just such a good start. I was like, bro, I'm feeling it already. Yeah. I'm feeling it. Dang. And so you said, will I become all that I see? Maybe. Well, we finding out you've been grinding out. And so, dang. Honestly, I feel like a lot of times you have these moments of just like self-reflection. And when it comes to becoming all that you see, like we did talk about your legacy, but specifically when it comes to the music, like what do you see in your future? Like what is it that you're shooting for? What do you want? What's your goal?
Well, a couple of things first and foremost.
Okay, yeah, go.
Will I become all that I see? It's a little bit of a callback to Dreams, mm-hmm. where I, in verse 2, where I'm talking as my dad, he says, ain't gotta be what you see.
Yeah.
And so now I'm finding out, like, well, will I become all that I see? You know what I mean?
I see. I didn't do that on purpose, but that was good.
But yeah, so it's a callback to that. And then second, on a different front, shout out my boy Donovan. Credited as Ayo Don. We've known each. We went to high. He's squad. He family. Okay. So we went to high school together. Me, him, Brandon, Allen, what I'm saying, Paulo, Antonio, the usual characters, the usual faces. He's part of that group. And he sent me that gem, and he just wanted me to hear it and critique it. Come on. And when I tell you, I was so proud of my dog.
Come on.
Because when he started making beats, I had been at it for a little bit, mm-hmm. making music, and I had already released a bunch of projects. And so he would come to me, similar thing. He would come to me like, yo, I got something I want you to hear. I'm finna sing you some stuff. Can you critique it? Uh-huh. And so he would send me a bunch of stuff. But then it was a little while where I didn't hear much musically from him. Mm-hmm. And then one day he just sent that out of nowhere. And I listened to it and I was like, bro.
Dang.
I had to show it to my younger brother. I told Donovan, I said, bro, I'm so proud of you, dog. This sounds amazing, bro.
Can I have
and
it?
Then I was like, what are you gonna do with it? Like, do you have any? We just cooking up, getting the reps in. Uh-huh. Do you mind if I use it? I'm making a project. Can I use it? And he was like, yeah, bro, just go ahead and mess with it. And it was one of those things where, so I'm artist and producer, but I know how to take off one. I know how to take off either hat at a moment's notice. And that was one of those things where it's like, I need that in its exact form.
Okay.
I'm not even gonna mess with it. I need that as is. And he was like, yeah, bro, just go ahead and mess with it, and do whatever you want with it. And I was like, okay. And I was so proud of him and so confident in just the music itself that oftentimes I rewrite stuff. It was just one go. Okay. Nothing had to be rewritten.
Come on.
Nothing had to be re-recorded. Like, I wrote it, I recorded it, I sent it back to him, and he went nuts.
Come on.
And when the dream came out, I sent him a screenshot because I had to hold on to the project, not just the song, but the whole project for a while. And so a lot of time passed before things actually came out. But I sent him the screenshot, and I was like, there's your producer credits, dog. Aww. And he went nuts.
Come on. I love that for him.
Yeah, shout out my dog, Donovan, bro. I love you. Hope you and the fam is good. Darn. So, man, I forgot your question. It's just like all that stuff came to mind. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I forgot my question.
No,
too.
I think we were talking about like writing this like as something like continuing.
Yes,
like,
I was just saying like it's where you are now.
Yeah, yeah. Like I knew I had to end the project a certain way, and it was just a matter of figuring out how. With Transparent 2, I feel like that had a definite ending.
Yeah, on purpose.
On purpose. And I feel like with this one, there was no definite ending.
Right.
It was literally like to be continued. Well, we'll see. You know what I mean? Here's everything I've been dealing with now, but I'm not at the mountaintop yet, and I'm not stopping. So it's a to be continued, not okay, this story is over. And when Donovan sent that and I started writing it, it was like it was that. It was like everything that all of the stories and the emotions that I had laid out on the project put into, like, if I had to put it into that one song, it was like, okay, we have the frustrations, we have the working the 9 to 5 for the cash to take care. So you talking about, okay, we talk about that. Yeah. We have this, we have the determination, all that kind of stuff. Is now it's like, okay, now that we got through all of that, it's like, okay, we really gonna get there? Yeah. Well, we'll find it out. We'll see. Yeah. And that's where that one came from.
Okay. One thing that you talked about in that song was how you're around folks who made it. Yeah. And so when you say that, like, in my mind, I would just assume that their success looks very different from yours. Yeah,
this is people that there's some that made it in the music industry.
Okay.
But many that I was thinking of when I wrote it was people that made it but in a completely different industry.
Okay.
But still achieved that entrepreneurial success that I'm ultimately going for, but just in their field. Yeah. And that was my first time really looking at that up close. Okay. No longer, or not no longer, but like, okay, pausing on watching like the inspirational videos from like Jordan or Kobe or like whatever artist I'm looking at. Now there's people that's right in front of me. Yeah. Like, I'm shaking hands with them. I'm working with them. I'm working for them as a 9 to 5 job, and I'm actually able to see what hard work paying off actually looks like on them. And
you're like, it's gonna look good on me too. Come on.
I like how it look. You know what I'm saying? I like how it look. It look good. So I was like looking at them, and it's like, okay, like I could. And some of these people started way older than when I started. You know what I mean? You can probably consider them late bloomers, maybe, but they started. Yeah. And it paid off. So it's like, okay, is that going to be me too? It's got to be me. When? We'll find out, but it's got to be me.
So do you really ask yourself sometimes, are you a genius or are you insane?
No.
Okay, that was like in your song. No. It's like, am I a genius or am I insane? And I was like, that's interesting.
No, that was it's like, you ever hear like or come across those kind of ideas where it's like, okay, if it works out, man, you a genius.
Right.
If not, you dumb.
Yeah, bro. Yes.
It was like that. It's this the dream. And for me, like if I'm going to dream, I want it to be that grand, where it's either going to be an epic success or an epic failure.
Okay. I want it that grand.
I want it that grand. It's like either we're going to succeed in an epic fashion or we're going to fail in an epic fashion. Okay, either way, we're going to have a good story to tell.
That. I love that. Okay, I'm here for it.
That's where that came from. It's like at the end, I'm either going to, not saying that, say I succeed, I'm going to go around, I'm a genius, but that's just speaking to the magnitude for me. It's like either they're going to consider you a genius because it worked, or they're going to be like, dang, yo, it didn't.
Dang. Okay. Yeah. Wow. Is there anything else that you would like to share about the dream that I may not have covered or that you wanted to touch on?
Nah, that was very thorough. I think this was good.
I think it's good.
I'm proud of it. I will say this is what I'm project wise. This is like I'm the most proud of this one by far.
Same.
Mine.
I'm proud of it.
I'm the most proud of it. There was a lot went into this. I said on the project that it's more than just a bar, more than just making beats, but like behind the scenes, a lot went into this. It's a lot of stuff. Maybe one day there'll be some crazy documentary where we can tell a little bit more. But just quality wise, I'm proud of it. And I just hope everyone just enjoys it.
Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, me. So what's next? Just kidding. You just dropped a project. What else do you have for us?
As far as what next, obviously got to push it. Got to push the project. Yeah. And we've been pushing this since we started rolling out singles. So this isn't new, but pushing it, trying to get certain things that have been happening behind the scenes, certain goals that we've had for this to come to fruition. Obviously doing shows. At the time of filming this, there's a show I have in San Francisco in less than a month, and then there's other performance opportunities that we're working out behind the scenes. So it's just constantly pushing.
Come on. So what do you need from the people? How can we the people help you?
The people can support for free if they can't give $1, and they can just support by continuing to liking the content, the music, sharing it, reposting, commenting, all of that stuff. I mean, subscribing if you're not subscribed. A little, it may seem like not much, but a little goes a long way. Check out the website too. Got merch there. Wanted to get merch going for this one. We'll see. We'll see about that. There's things that need to align for that.
Okay, I would really just love your album cover.
I thought about that.
On the front of my t-shirt.
I thought about that.
It's probably basic. It's okay. I know you want to get a little crazy, a little creative. I know how you are.
It's
okay. Do
so maybe I want to do a merch drop for this one, but it may be a little bit prolonged because if only y'all knew like the stuff on the desk, and it's a lot. So hopefully we can get there. Just got to work out some logistics behind that.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. Oh, well, thank you for your time.
Thank you
for, just impacting our world by your album. And I'm just really excited to see like how far it goes, how the people react and respond. And I know it's really just like, the best way that I can think of it right now is just like, it's like a ministry. Like, I know that you're really going to like touch people and it's going to go far. So I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate this interview. Your interviews are always awesome.
Oh my God, thank you. Sometimes I'm like, maybe I didn't ask enough questions, but then I'm like, we might be here a lot longer. So
this was thorough. This was good. Unrehearsed. Another special edition. Keep following us. Season 2 is rolling.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? The guys only episode should have dropped by this. Yeah. I'm trying to remember what the timeline is. There's a lot happening. But continue to like, share, and subscribe.
Yes, please.
I mean, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Supporting the music, supporting the podcast. You see there's a lot that we're trying to build up here. It's more than just crafting the bars or just filming episodes of a podcast. There's a lot. So appreciate y'all. Till next time.
Love y'all. Bye, fam.